Hi, welcome to the SoccerBeat podcast. Today we're talking Sundowns and Pirates in the same show, and we've got two experts to join me to talk about some pretty big news that's brewing in the background at those two clubs. We've got Ngwenya is going to deal with Sundowns and Cheezboy Mokoena with Pirates. And basically what we're talking about today is those two teams looking pretty likely to maybe lose their best players from the last season. Lucas Ribeiro and Rele Mofokeng look like they're going to be probably sold to leagues abroad. But guys, before we crack on with that, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. A lot of our shows are getting 20, 30,000 views, but a lot of you, maybe 2/3, even 3/4, sometimes aren't subscribed when you're listening. So click that button. It gives us more visibility. And also comment, tell us what shows you want us to do for you. Okay, gentlemen, so this news that's been brewing, we know it's been coming for a while. It's looking more and more likely now that Ribeiro and Mofokeng are going to be on their bikes and going to be leaving their clubs. So firstly, we know these are the two best players in the PSL last season. We saw the awards last night. Ribeiro took the award, probably for me deserved. Cheez, I don't know if you might disagree, but maybe you agree. But it's the big players out the door. Now, first I want to ask you guys. Start with you, Cheez. Just for the league as a whole, maybe taking off your Pirates hat, what do you think would mean if these two both left in the same off season, and then we go into the league next season without the league's two best players? Like, how does it affect the Betway Premiership overall?
Grant, I think, they've shown that they're exceptional players, they're quality players. Ribeiro at Sundowns has done exceptionally well. Congrats on his achievements, on winning his individual awards. And also with Rele as well, I think these two players have put some spark in the league, and they've kept us glued onto our seats to always see who comes up with what at the weekend, and if we are going to lose both those players, I think it would be a loss for the league, but I think it would also be a gain for the other players that, that feel that they can step into those shoes, because I always believe that there's always a player out there that believe that they can do better than we are seeing currently. And it will only afford them an opportunity to raise their hands and say, look, if you've lost a quality player like Rele, I can step in and do the same. It's also an opportunity for the players to expand their careers. So if the moves are possible and are going to happen, I can only wish them the best. And I would love for them to leave, as much as it would be a loss for the league and the teams. But I think for player growth, I think it would be good for the two individuals to actually go in and exercise their muscles somewhere else in a different league, and also maybe make a couple of bucks, because football is a short career, by the way. So if it's giving you the green light, take the opportunity.
And Shakes, you've been saying to me for a while that you think Ribeiro is going to go. It looks like it's. Do you think it's? I mean, Sundowns don't usually sell their best players abroad. Maybe Pirates and more so Chiefs actually allow their players to leave. One of the best players leaving now. And how do you think the league overall is going to be affected? I mean, if they both go out the door at the same time. So let's say both teams are losing their best player, not just one leaves and the other one stays. How do you think it's going to affect the league?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about two amazing players, Grant, that lit up the PSL last season, just a case in point, the fixture between the two teams, between Sundowns and Pirates, the first game where Ribeiro scored that beautiful goal similar to the one he scored in the Club World Cup against Pirates, and then Mofokeng also coming back, scoring 2 goals in like 10 minutes at FNB. That goes to show the quality of those players in a big game like that. So definitely it's a big loss, but for me it's no surprise. Ribeiro showed what he could do in the Club World Cup, and he sold himself. And it was obvious for me that there'll be interest for him, and Rele as well. What a great talent, could have been the player of the season for me as well, for what he's done last season. He was toe to toe there with Ribeiro, and for a young boy to step up like that in a big team like Orlando Pirates, and to almost carry that team, just shows what a quality player he is. And yeah, so I'm wishing Mofokeng all the best. He deserves a big move. But yeah, I think the league will be affected somehow, with the loss of those two big players. But then, like Cheez said, it gives an opportunity for other players to come up, and step up and show that they can also produce the same. And just a player that I'm thinking about who's itching to do what Rele is doing, who's coming from the same stable as Rele, a player like Mokoena at Sundowns.
We looked at Mofokeng last year, 12 goals, 15 assists in all competitions. Maybe even most impressive is that he got 5 goals in the CAF Champions League for a young player like that. It's a huge loss, but something I was just saying to you before the show, you know, Pirates have gone out and got 3 wingers in this window. They've got Apollos, they've got Maremi, they've got Sebelebele. I know they must also replace Saleng and Nkota, although Saleng didn't play so much last year, so it's less of an issue. Do you think, firstly, the Pirates are already thinking about Mofokeng going, so they were getting a few guys through the door, but also, if Sundowns are looking in the market now for wingers, they've jumped in and taken 3 already of the best ones off the table in the PSL. Do you think I'm onto something there? Do you think they were kind of already succession planning there?
I think they are. I think that's what big teams do. You know, you prepare yourself earlier because, you know, if you got a shining star, everybody's looking at that shining star. You know, so I mean the chances were there. I think they even knew about the Nkota move that it could happen. You know, I think hence you find Orlando Pirates having signed or Maremi or Apollos. You know, 2 3 good wingers and probably one more youngster. You know. I think as well as after knowing that they would be probably loaning out Saleng, they are going to need a left-footed player that's also going to be dynamic and try and get goals for them, you know. And obviously for a big club, you know, they don't really worry much about individuals or star players, you know, because they are always prepared to lose 1 or 2, you know. And I think with the signings that they've done, I think it's a clear indication that they are on the ropes, probably, like, you know, as the statements are saying that they were negotiating before, they were not happy with the price, and now they come back again, and seems to be all systems go. And yeah, I think Paris has been ready for this. I don't know about Sundowns. Shakes will tell me a bit, but like I said earlier, at Sundowns, there's a lot of them. You know, there's a lot of Ribeiros there. Some are sitting there, relaxing, waiting for their chance. You know, so yeah, we shall see what happens, man. But yeah, I think Pirates was well prepared for this, and even if we lose Rele, I think there'll always be a replacement for a player like him. I mean, we've had star players at Pirates. You know, you've had your Teko Mudises, your Tovi Lagazis. You know, you've had your Tim Nkosi Lodge. So you're talking about the key players, you know, that played a major role at the club and ended up still living, and the club still continued and still kept on dishing out good football and kept on winning trophies. So I don't think it's a train smash, especially when it comes to the big clubs. They are already prepared.
Yeah, and Shakesy, you know, Ribeiro, he had an amazing season, no doubt about that. But in the CAF Champions League, you know, he scored in the final in the first leg, but his only other goals were in the prelim rounds when they played. Yeah, you know, that's always slightly less strong opponents in those prelim rounds. But in the group stages, in the other knockout games, he didn't score. And I wonder, maybe in the Champions League, it won't be as much of a loss because Sundowns have already been he hasn't really been delivering. But you think Sundowns have been caught out slightly by this because there haven't really been a lot of wingers linked, and Pirates have jumped in with 3 already. Where they're going to find a replacement that's like Ribeiro that can play similar? Because, you know, we've spoken about let's say LS Mokoena, but he's more of, you know, keep chalk on your boots type of winger. We've talked about Percy Tau, who used to be more of a running in behind type of winger, but not a Ribeiro type. Where do they find this replacement? I mean, is it they have to probably go outside the Mzansi shores basically to find one, right?
Yeah, it seems like they're going to have to go outside. You know, the good thing is that you know, with Ribeiro leaving, it's also a return of investment. You know, they'll get big money for him if he goes, and that's what Patrice always wanted. You know, the right price for the players at Sundowns. You know, so I think that will give them options to go out on the market and get a really a big player, quality player who can fill those shoes. But I was saying earlier, Grant, that you know there's capable players there, like Cheez has said, that are waiting to come in. You know, you've got the young Siyabonga Mabena, you know, who can
Yeah.
who's such a quality player,
Yeah.
given a chance, just like Rele has been given a chance. That boy can shine. You know, a lot of quality players, not only even at Sundowns. I'm thinking of another player who's the same mold coming from the School of Excellence, Emil Witbooi. What a quality player, you know. If
Hey,
you
he's coming
watch
to
that
Orlando. Hey, Shakes, he's coming to Orlando, that boy.
Ah,
Relax. Relax.
Quality. I would love that to happen, Cheese. I would love to see him going to a team like Pirates because I know he's a player, who can just ignite, and
Yeah.
excite the fans, and that would be good for South African football, And I think Sundowns have a lot, man. They have a lot. They didn't go out loosely in the market. You saw they were very cautious this season. Just one or two quality players, to fill in. Yeah, but it remains to be seen if they can sign a quality player of Ribeiro's nature.
I think Grant, before you jump in there, Grant, I just want to add on this. I think there's also Madman from Spurs as well. That young boy is also a brilliant talent. Him and Witbooi. I think for me those are the two options if you're looking at youngsters that might come in, and automatically gel in, and fall in love with the fans, because of the type of energy they bring, the type of football they play as well, So I think for me those are the two options. I'd feel if Pirates would lose Rele, would go for their youngster and gradually bring him in, and I'm telling you, they will bring spark at Orlando.
But Shakes, he wants to. I think Cheese wants to sign all the wingers there and not leave any for Sundowns. Let's go through a few. So there's Velabai, he's a youngster. There's Kaleto Makawa. Of course, Sundowns let him go, but he had an amazing season last year. He got the most assists in the whole PSL. Maybe a bit old, but he might be someone. Or let me put forward Percy Tau. He's become more and more of a right winger as the years have gone on. Maybe he could come into that Ribeiro position. Maybe he wasn't even on Sundowns' radar. They weren't considering him, but now they have to find a replacement. They have to go big. Would you say yes or no to Percy?
Oh, definitely. With Percy, I'd say yes. I know the boy personally, and I know how hungry he is. I know how disciplined he is. I used to go to Klorkop in the afternoon when the boys went training, and you'd find him there training alone. So it was no surprise for me to see him reach the heights that he reached. And I still believe he's still got a lot to offer. Very disciplined, hardworking player. Definitely an option for Sundowns. And they know him at Sundowns. They know what he can do. He's played for Al Ahly, a big team. So I think he's definitely an option now with Ribeiro looking like he's going to leave. So I think I'd definitely consider a play like him.
Cheese, I'm going to finish off asking you something.
Has there ever been a player that has left Sundown Shakes and came back? I know he left from Sundown. I was with the boys, so I'm not sure about that. Maybe Pirates is another option, Grant? What do you think?
It could be, but I want to ask you, Cheese. It's been since 2012, Pirates haven't won the league. So let me put one situation to you. Ribeiro goes, he gets sold to a Brazilian club or to a club in Saudi. We've heard a little bit in the background from Peter that maybe Pirates want to hold on to Mofokeng until after the AFCON. It might be good for his career to actually stay here, keep on this development path, play in the AFCON. Maybe you could even get a bigger fee for him if he does well in that tournament. Would you consider that? Say to him, look, we want to keep you. It's good for your Bafana ambitions. We get you a better move. And then maybe you have one season where Sundowns are maybe caught a little bit out with Ribeiro going, Mofokeng stays, and maybe you can end that long league drought. Do you think that's something you could pitch forward to Rele?
Yeah, well, look, as a former player, I would love for him to go. I don't think as a player would want to wait for the AFCON, because even if he leaves, he'll still be called up to the national team. So I wish it happens now, but if it does not happen, that's also a good option to stay and make sure that he does well to get into the AFCON team and play well in the AFCON. That will obviously boost his market value as well, and most probably, the window's still open, and he'll probably get maybe a better offer or a bigger offer than it is a big offer, but he'll probably get a bigger offer than what he is currently being offered. So I think for me it goes both ways, Grant. If it's on the table right now, if I was him, I would take it and leave. But if it's something that still needs to be negotiated, I'd focus and start off the season well and make sure I get into the AFCON, and then go back to the drawing board in terms of his agent and the people representing him to say, okay, look, we have agreed that we'll be here until the AFCON. If we get a better offer than what we have right now, then you guys can release the player.
Okay, guys, so we've discussed a lot here. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think from what we've heard, Ribeiro is probably slightly more likely to go than Mofokeng, because there are offers coming in, big ones, and the Club World Cup has kind of sparked maybe a bigger market for him than Mofokeng has. But we're going to chat soon and see what happens. Hopefully some new stars will step up in the Betway Premiership, and we'll have some other player of the season contenders next year that we maybe didn't even think about. Maybe from your clubs, maybe a Mokoena comes forward, or Letlaku, or just like in Qatar did last year, someone comes up from the youth. Thanks, guys. Let's chat soon.